fearful of getting to the rim, drawing that contact, which is working right into Milwaukee's hands, forcing him into some tough shots.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there because his shooting percentage definitely has went down since the nose was broken. And then he didn't look comfortable when he was playing with the mask on. And now, obviously, he's not wearing that mask. So you really might be onto something, G.
You agree?
Hey, man.
Go ahead, man. Hey, I like that, man.
You do your homework sometimes.
I do sometimes.
You do your homework sometimes, but
sometimes I wing it, too.
Yeah, I can tell. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to making sure that Booker gets quality shots. And I think that will help him out a lot. And understanding where the doubles are coming from. Sometimes you got to make a couple of passes to get yourself open late. So a couple of those plays where he could have possibly passed to Jay Crowder or some of his other teammates, right here, pass that ball to Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder was 6 for 7 from 3. Let Jay hit a couple of shots, and then you'll be able to get your work done later on.
What are you telling yourself, Grant, if you are Devin Booker on this stage to break out of this slump?
Well, I think first of all, you want to try to get some things easy. Like Brendan said, read the defense. You get frustrated sometimes like you did in Game 3. You start forcing the action. A couple of those shots that we saw in that segment, he could have passed off. He's also, when he's getting the ball's holding. He's sitting there surveying the defense. This defense of Milwaukee is elite. You get two guys that are first-team all-defenders. The ball's not moving. It gives them a chance to set up and really kind of be in the right spots. So, you saw in games 1 and 2, the ball was flying around for Phoenix. They were moving around and draw and kick, and from that, they were creating offense. I felt like in Game 3, Devin Booker in particular was one-on-one isolating, no ball movement. So I would imagine Monty Williams tries to get the ball moving from side to side, and then get Booker the ball in spots where he can make quick moves, quick decisions before the defense sets up.
That's from the outside. Let's take it inside, Brendan, because as I'm looking at these stats, in Game 3, points in the paint, the Bucks win 54-40. Second chance points, the Bucks win 20-2. Fast break points, the Bucks win 16-6. So again, as our big man on set, tell me what you need to see from the Suns.
Well, a lot of that just comes down to hustle and effort. When you talk about fast break points, that means everybody has to get back, build that wall for Giannis, and make sure that you make that lane look cluttered and don't let your opponents beat you down the field. But you see Giannis right here, one-on-one. There's no wall there. Look, Chris Paul has his back turned. Kaminsky hasn't come across the lane. Oh, that's easy for Giannis. Hey, Jay Crowder, I love his defense, but one-on-one, there's nothing that he can do right there. Now you see Giannis again going down the lane. That's a home run trot. These guys aren't sprinting back right there. When it's Giannis, you have to sprint all the way back and make sure that lane looks super crowded. Now, once again, you have Mikal Bridges one-on-one. That's not a lane. Tries to guard Giannis. Giannis goes right past him with the Euro step. Nothing he can do. Cam Johnson, he's halfway over there. Giannis this time rolls to the basket. DeAndre Ayton has to pull over there a lot earlier. He doesn't. Giannis gets a layup once again. Now he's one-on-one against Jay Crowder. This is too much space. He sees that space. He's attacking that. He's like, yeah, that's an easy one. Giannis has been going off the last 2 games, but it's been easy. He hasn't had that wall. He hasn't had to shoot a lot of those fadeaway jumpers that you don't mind him taking. And I'll take it back to 2011 when I was in Dallas and we played against LeBron James. Rick Carlisle had a rule that we must sprint back and shut the lane off for LeBron James. We knew his percentages when he was shooting outside of 17 feet as opposed to when he was shooting inside. And he said, we didn't care what we did in transition. If you're not sprinting back, you're not trying to win. Because we had to make sure that LeBron didn't get any layups, anything inside. We were able to persevere with those type of tactics. I think Phoenix can do the same, but they have to show a lot more attention to Giannis in that paint. That paint has to get shut off tonight.
You know what? I agree with you, Brendan.
Thank you very much.
I love this. Like Duke and UNC just...
Yeah.
Wow.
Coming together.
No, he's right, though. You have to form a wall, and he's unlike any other player in this league. A lot of times there were 2 or 3 people there. You think that's a wall.
Right.
But Giannis can weave in and out of that and pick it apart. So not attacking the offensive glass, getting people back when the shot goes up. But what was the one consistent thing we saw in those clips? DeAndre Ayton wasn't on the floor.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got to stay out of foul trouble. When he went to the bench, Giannis just took over time and time again, getting to the basket. I think he was 13 for 13 at the rim. So there was no force, no resistance, no rim protection. Whether Ayton guards him or plays off of him and is able to come over and contest, he is so vitally important to their defense. And Giannis capitalized when he went to the bench.
Some of the Phoenix Suns are now arriving here in Milwaukee as well, and we want to talk a little bit more about this team that is now leading the
icy. That boy icy.
2-1.
Hey, there you go.
He icy
NBA
right there.
Finals.
That's super icy.
What do you think?
He cleaned up from game 3.
Is that suit too baggy? I don't know.
It looks nice.
It's like I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling with it.
Oh. Lisa Leslie, front and center on CP3's T-shirt. I love it.
As she should be.
As she should be.
Hall of Famer.
The greatest of all time. Let's talk a little bit, though, about Chris Paul, because it's not just what he's doing on the floor, Brendan, but what he has done to make everybody around him better.
Chris Paul is one of those guys that he's just a leader. And when he's out there, everybody feeds off his energy. And if you listen to what he's saying and you just roll with him, he'll find a way to make you better as a player. Sometimes it can be aggressive. Sometimes it can rub some teammates the wrong way. But guess what? With this Phoenix team, everybody's on the same page, and his leadership style was needed. I think when you combine his leadership with Monty Williams' leadership, these young guys are now all on the right page, and they understand what winning basketball is. And that's very tough. Everybody thinks they're playing winning basketball, but sometimes you're not. Grant, I played for 8 to 9 years in D.C. I thought I was playing winning basketball until I got to Dallas. Then I realized I was just playing to play. And there's a difference. And when you get a leader that shows you, hey, man, this is what has to be done. These are the sacrifices that have to be made. This is the extra pass that you have to make if you want to win. That's when you become a winner. And that's what Chris Paul has done for this team. He's educated these guys on what it takes to become a winner in this league.
Yeah, Chris Paul has an incredible standard. You know, a standard for himself, for all those that are around him. And much as Brendan said, he has lifted his team, and they believe. And it's the little things, it's the swagger, it's the attention to detail, it's the belief that you can compete at an elite level. And he brought that from day one. He and Monty Williams attached, got a great history, relationship. He's an extension of Monty on the floor. And you can feel his presence is palpable. The guys have really related to him. And he's a guy that in this game, he's capable of going off.
Yeah.
I mean, he's capable of having a big moment. And just we've seen that in other series on the road. A team gets kind of punched in the face. They got knocked back, losing by 20 points in game 3. He's a guy that could come out, possibly dominate, control the game, and have a big night for his son's ball club. He has that kind of ability.
Because the standard you mentioned, I believe he would agree, was not met in Game 3. So what are your expectations for him in Game 4?
I think he'll look to be more aggressive. I think you'll see him looking for his shot a little bit more. He knows Devin Booker struggled. I think also maybe looking to get Booker maybe coming off screens and setting some sets up for him. But, we've seen it. We saw when he was healthy, his shoulder was okay, like going on the road against the Clippers and having huge performances. You get him in that screen and roll, he is dangerous. And his play, it's almost like a big momentum play. Like sometimes you see a guy have a great dunk or a great block. Some of his plays are timely. They're needed at the right time. They calm down the opposing crowd on the road. So he lives for these type of moments, and he understands what's at stake, all that he's been through. So I expect him to look to be more aggressive and have a big night. Whether they can win or not, that remains to be seen. Right. But I think Chris Paul will play well.
The beauty of Chris Paul is that when he comes out aggressive, that doesn't mean he's coming out to shoot. That means he can come out aggressive and get a bunch of assists because he likes to press the action, especially in the pick and roll and in the mid game. So when he gets into that mid post or that area where he snakes that screen and roll and comes up for that jump shot, he can make that can be a jumper for him or it can be a lob for DeAndre Ayton. I agree. I think he's going to come out aggressive, but aggressive for certain guys just means shots.
Yep.
When a lot of players say they're going to come out aggressive, that means they have that tunnel vision where they're just looking to get themselves off. When Chris Paul comes out aggressive, that might mean he has 10 points and 9 assists before we even get to halftime. So it's a different type of aggression, but I definitely think he's going to look to put his stamp on this game.
We do have to take another break, but I'm being told that PJ Tucker is arriving, and I always look forward to seeing what he's wearing.
What shoes he got tonight?
I love that he brings in 2. Always. Yeah. There's always 2.
What is that? I'm trying to figure out what that is.
It looks like the old John McEnroe's.
No, I'm talking about that. What's that on his shoulders?
It's a cardigan, Brendan.
It is?
It is a cardigan.
It's kind of outside, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
All right. Our Game 4 coverage will continue.
Look like my aunt.